Night of Champions happened, and we need to discuss everything that happened. Was it an overbooked mess? You're going to find out. Stick around. This is Triple Threat Wrestling. Welcome back to Triple Threat Wrestling. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. We drop daily wrestling content. Joined with me is Wrestling Brother, and we are going to go over all the card of Night of Champions and see what we thought and see if you agree with us. Drop it in the comments below. But Wrestling Brother, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. Welcome back to the States.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's like a whole nother world when I've been traveling. So if you haven't seen any videos besides the shorts that he has done, that's why I've been gone. But I'm back, getting in the swing of things, and we're going to start with Night of Champions. So you ready to break this down?
Let's do it.
All right. So let's go over the first match I want to talk about: Jade Cargill versus Asuka. Give me your honest thoughts on this match, because I thought it could have been a lot better than it was, but I want to know what you think.
Yeah, I love Jade, right? She has all the tools to be like this iconic superstar. My wife is a casual fan, but she keeps up through what she sees me watching, and she might have a question here and there. The most recent question she asked me was episode of SmackDown. Jade Cargill shows up on the screen. She said, "Who is that?" Because she's a star. She has all the tools. She's beautiful, tall, bulky, the white hair, the presentation, the intro. But when it comes to the ring, like, it looks like she is literally like overthinking every move, which ends up happening, and it causes the moves to look a little botchy, or like she missed a spot because she's overthinking it. But if she can really get that in-ring component together, I thought her being with Bianca would help a lot, which I think it has. She's much better on promos lately, but this match was it. Asuka deserved better, you know. And the right person won the match. I mean, Jade Cargill, somebody like her is somebody that should win Queen of the Ring, because we'll talk about the King of the Ring finals later. But to me, King of the Ring is a star making tool. King, Queen of the Ring, those are star making tools, kind of in the same vein as like a Royal Rumble or a Money in the Bank. So it's better to me when somebody that could use it actually wins it versus established people. So I think it's established that Jade Cargill is a star. And again, she has that star presence. Her winning makes total sense, but the match was just not what it should have been. And I think it was the worst match of the night.
Yeah. I mean, and it didn't stay its welcome as long as it should have either. It kind of was quicker than I was hoping it to be, because Asuka can work. And that would have been a good match to really showcase Jade as a powerhouse. And I mean, yeah, the right person did win. The right person did win. Jade Cargill. In my prediction here, now I made a prediction for WrestleMania earlier this year, about maybe 4 months ago, or right after WrestleMania. Anyway, about what next year's main event could be. I predicted Naomi, Jade, and Bianca Belair triple threat match for the title. And I think we get some seeds there. I think Jade wins the title at SummerSlam, and I think Naomi cashes in.
Yep.
Gets the title, and we start the road to Mania there. But yeah, overall, right person won. So I think we agree there. Next, since we're just talking about King and Queen of the Ring, let's just go to the King of the Ring one. Let's just talk about it. So Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. Again, like you hit the nail on the head, is King of the Ring and Money in the Bank are both things that you should use to elevate other stars, right? That's how Stone Cold got his break, as the King of the Ring, right? So to have like two main event stars is kind of like, you could have got there without it. You could have gave it to someone else. But what is your thoughts? Is the right person going over here?
So for what we got, the right person went over. right? Randy Orton never in life needs to win King of the Ring. He has been a made man since 2003, pretty much. One of the greatest all-time champions ever. Like his legacy does not need another Royal Rumble win, does not need a King of the Ring, does not need a Money in the Bank. We just need a little bit of that heel Randy Orton, which we saw a little bit come out in this match, which got cheered, by the way.
Yeah.
His heel antics get cheered because it's peak Randy Orton. But this match, it was unnecessary, and this is a match that to me can headline a SummerSlam. Damn near headline a Mania if you want. If you build the right story, going back to their legacy days and all of that, and all of that, you can definitely. This could be a night one Mania main event, and we're getting it in Saudi Arabia for King of the Ring. It just made no sense to me. The King of the Ring final should have been Sami Zayn versus Jey Uso, because the story is there. They're best friends, because you did basically the same thing with
And Randy.
Cody
Yeah.
and Jay, but you should have done it with Sammy and Jay. And we already kind of got some heelish looks from Sami Zayn the night after Mania when he was helping Jay celebrate. This could kind of further plant some seeds, and you can still insert Karrion Kross into this after we get King Sammy, right? You can say,
Yeah.
okay, you beat him, you did what you were supposed to do, but instead we got this match, which uh, and Randy Orton is selling this back injury most of the match, so the match worked kind of a slower speed. I think the Saudi crowd overhyped it because they were chanting, "This is awesome!" Like at moments where I'm like, "This is okay." Like it's not a bad. I mean, those two couldn't have a bad match if you tried, but it was. I mean, to get a "This is awesome" chant, like I didn't see a whole lot that was awesome. I thought that Randy Orton thinking about doing the punt on one of his closest friends, was good. Again, it's that kind of '09 heel Randy that, we all love. And then Cody was getting booed when,
Yeah.
when he was doing, so, there's, and I don't know if you saw, but Cody Rhodes at FanFest last week was talking about he thinks his babyface run is slowly coming to an end, and I concur.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is, like with Cody, like it's hard because I do agree his babyface run should have ended a little while ago because it's kind of what now? You finished a story and now it's like that was why we were all invested in you, but what now? And like
Right.
I think he needs a good solid heel championship run, but I don't know how you get there now because they've already planted seeds of Orton giving some heelish looks to him when he was leaving the match. Um, kind of indicating maybe Randy might turn on Cody later, but maybe it's the other way around. Maybe Cody will turn on
I,
Randy because in this match, did you notice too? Cody was doing what it took. Remember when John said, "You don't
right.
do what it takes.
Right.
That's why I beat you." He used the heel tactics to beat Randy, so maybe it'll play the other way, and maybe Cody's the one that's the heel. But
So
um,
you're saying something there. So I think at SummerSlam we're gonna get a double turn. I think Cena's gonna turn back babyface. Cody's gonna turn heel, and it's gonna be the first time they've pulled off a double turn so perfect. If they pull it off, kind of similar to Bret Hart and Austin at WrestleMania 13. I feel that that's what's gonna happen, and I don't want to over gas it up. It would be nice if the final boss had some play in this, like this was his ultimate play. It wasn't John Cena or something like that. But I think we're going to get a double turn at SummerSlam night two.
that would be awesome. My faith in the final boss doing anything anymore is very low, but I mean that would solidify the double turn.
Yep.
Having him turn on Cena to help Cody win, like
Yep.
that's how you get there, I think. But overall, like you said, it for me it didn't pack a punch of like a great match because yeah, it's a good match, but it's like I wanted to see someone else go over, like you said, like a Sami Zayn or something. Like Sami Zayn, especially in Saudi. Can you imagine him winning King of the Ring in Saudi? The crowd would have erupted. So,
Yep.
but we didn't get it. So, speaking of Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross, a match that wasn't supposed to happen, and then it happened, and Karrion Kross got his PLE match. Let's go to you again. What do you think of the match?
It was good. Karrion Cross had been kind of getting some heat on social media about he's not getting pushed because he doesn't take back bombs and he does. And hey, man, last night he delivered a great match with Sami Zayn. He took some bumps. He looked good in the ring. Like that. That ain't the reason he ain't getting pushed. I can assure you. I think I'm gonna be honest. I think he ain't getting pushed because he ain't a yes man,
Yep.
and he can do like he somebody like him that's not afraid to jump on his social media and get himself hot and sell merch because of who he is on his platform tells me that he is not this company yes man, and you're not just going to hand him anything and call it good. And so that's the reason he ain't getting pushed. It's because Triple H can't just do anything with a guy like him. Um, but I was happy to see him on a PLE. It's the right opponent, but again, this should have been a Raw main event or a Raw, semi main, because this is Night of Champions. Neither one of them are champions. So why are we seeing this match on this card? It's almost like just throwing a random house show match on a card. I know it was replacing the Dominic Mysterio AJ match, but again, we had two title matches on SmackDown the night before. We could have easily flip flopped. Now, I know you want to get Sami on the Saudi show, but that's why it made sense for him to be a King of the Ring finalist.
Correct. Yep. And I get why they did it. Like you said, I mean, Sami Zayn wasn't supposed to be on the card, initially, but there's rumors that either Dominic Mysterio or AJ Styles, one of them didn't feel safe traveling there. And with all the
Right.
things going on in the world, we don't delve into politics here, but, they had to, on the fly, okay, what can we replace it with? But like you said, you could have eliminated all that if you just had Sami just be in the King of the Ring. He should have been. Why have Cody and I mean, Sami could have won King of the Ring and went after Gunther, right? Or
Yep.
Goldberg if you think that's going to happen. But,
Right.
you know, but, that's the thing is, they kind of dropped the ball there because Cody could have
Yeah.
got his match no matter what.
Yeah. The move would have been to have Sami win King of the Ring in Saudi. That's a whole moment, right? And then you have Sami fail at SummerSlam on night one against Gunther. And then the whole redemption story begins to take place. Karrion Kross is in it, and all of this stuff happens. Then you build it up, and then Saudi Arabia is hosting the Royal Rumble. Now Sami Zayn can win the Royal Rumble and really begin his path back to now becoming a world champion at Mania.
Yep. Yep. So we'll see. It kind of don't you feel like in maybe 5 years, every event's going to be in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah,
Every PLE is going to be there.
every PLE is going to be at noon.
Yeah. Every month. Yeah. Street fight. Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez. What did you think of this one?
Again, huge Rhea Ripley fan, but it's not a title match. This could have been on Raw, or I'm sorry, on SmackDown Friday night, and we could have done the the last woman standing match for the women's world title in place of it. Neither here nor there. Um, I'm not a huge, on the flip side of it, I am not a huge Raquel Rodriguez fan. I think she's bland. I don't understand her character. Um, but this was a pretty decent match.
She was throwing it down on
She
that match,
she
though. Yeah.
she worked a good match and kind of changed my opinions of her just a little bit last night. And I almost hate that Roxanne Perez came out and kind of stole the thunder a little bit, because I was kind of appreciating Raquel Rodriguez cooking a little bit. Um, but I feel like, Roxanne Perez is the one that they're going to make a star sooner than later, probably. And so you got to book her with, Rhea Ripley, because I'm assuming that's going to lead to something at Evolution, which is a good role for Roxanne Perez to be in. But I mean, when is the last time we've seen Raquel Rodriguez in a PLE match?
Yeah.
And she does not need an enforcer or help. She is the enforcer from what I'm trying to gather from her character. Um, but I tell you what, I think when Liv comes back, she's going to be a huge baby face, and Raquel and Roxanne, there's going to be some great work in there from there. So hopefully we get some character development from Raquel Rodriguez being away from Liv Morgan, because sometimes when you're opposite of somebody that's such a good character, there's no way you can shine. But when you get that person out of the way, you force them into the camera, you force them into PLE matches and really see what they can do. But don't let Roxanne Perez get all the shine. Let Raquel cook a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. You just hit the nail on the head in my head here is what's going on. You should be establishing Roxanne and Raquel as getting close. That way, when Liv comes back, she's kind of like, what's going on? And then you push Liv to be a huge baby face. Now, that brings me to, if you have Roxanne, and I don't know why WWE does this. Every time there's like one of their big names in a match, they've been heavily relying on interference and stuff. And it's just out of control lately. But if you're going to have Roxanne interfere, just give Raquel the win. Rhea didn't have to win here. It's a street
Right.
fight. Like
Exactly.
so
Oh my God.
you're supposed to build the story of Roxanne and Raquel getting closer, but Roxanne comes out to help Raquel and Rhea still wins. Like that doesn't make sense. It's like
Made no
um,
sense.
it makes no sense. I mean, Rhea should not have won here. It should not
Right.
have won here. But
Right.
but yeah, we're in agreement there. I think that when Liv comes back, she's gonna be a huge baby face, and
Rhea
we'll see what
winning
happens
made
at
it,
Evolution now.
right. Rhea winning made it feel like a house show.
Oh
Like
yeah,
you just want to send the
big time.
fans home happy. It should feel like a PLE. I should go, oh shit. Rhea just got pinned by Raquel Rodriguez.
Yep. Yep. I mean, it's okay to have big names take losses, especially when you have the street. Don't rely on interference, rely on the stipulation. A street fight, you easily could have just had Rhea get tied up in the ropes like she did, get beaten unconscious or whatever, and Raquel pins her clean. That would have given Raquel some stock, and that would have not hurt Rhea because she would have had the out of the street fight. So,
Yeah.
and nothing's going to hurt Rhea anyway. She's so freaking over. It doesn't matter.
Right.
But either way, let's go to Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu for the United States title. I got to hear your thoughts before it.
This was my shit, man. This was my shit. I ain't gonna lie to you.
It was a good
Man,
match.
this was good. Solo has really not gotten the flowers he should get. Ever since he took over the bloodline and all that, like, to me, he's been a great promo. But he's been losing match after, like, he doesn't even wrestle that much, but it was like every time he wrestles, he takes a pin, and the right person won. What I would like to see going forward, he's now locked and loaded with new bloodline members. You got JC Mateo. We saw Hikuleo debut. I guess he's going to be called Tala Tonga now.
Alatonga, yeah.
So, and then we got the GOAT returning. We had Tongaloa, the GOAT, come back. So, the bloodline is now reformed, and Jacob's kind of on an island, not the island of relevancy. He just kind of on the island right now. Looks like him and Jay or him and Jimmy are probably going to form some small alliance to kind of help combat that. But one, Solo winning was absolutely the right call. With help was absolutely the right call. But what I would like to see from moving forward, I would like to see Solo have a really impressive run as U.S. champion. Again, he's the Timu tribal chief, right? So let him have a Roman Reigns-esque run with the U.S. title, where he barely wins every PLE, but with the help, he gets the win. and have him break the records. I want to say Dean Ambrose has the longest U.S. title reign, and it's not that long. It's like a year. So like
Yeah.
have him just hold it for a year, and he's the longest reigning U.S. champion. Blah, like give him that distinction. To me, that'll help validate what he's done, and it gives him something he can work with. And then when he finally loses it, now you can elevate him to a main event.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Um, First of all, Solo Sikoa, when he started the whole tribal chief thing, I wasn't a fan. I'll be honest. The first, right after Mania 40, I was kind of like, I don't like the suit. His personality's kind of whatever. He has
Mm-hmm.
turned into a national treasure in my eyes. I love Solo Sikoa. Did you see the post conference where he's like, 4 letters, 1 word? Stop.
Yeah.
Like, he is just so freaking funny, dude. Like, he makes me laugh every time I see him now. But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, with all the interference, Hikuleo coming, first of all, that's going to get confusing. You have Tamatanga, Tangaloa, Talatanga, like it's like a what is it, like a tongue twister, saying all the
Yeah.
names together. But obviously Hikuleo is a monster, right? He's huge, and
He
that
ain't
helped
7 feet
Solo win,
though.
right?
He ain't
Yeah,
seven
no, he
feet.
ain't
They were
7
they were
feet.
saying,
No,
"Oh, he's a 7 footer," and he's like 2 inches taller than Jacob.
yeah. So Jacob must
Jacob
have
is my
grown, but
height.
yeah. I the only thing I didn't like is like with the interference, it protects Jacob, but it seems like you always build up these enforcers to like you have Solo who is like, I'm gonna protect Roman and them, and then he kind of turned into a joke. My fear is like now that Jacob lost, is he gonna turn into like losing a lot? And I don't want that, right? Now
Yeah.
Hikuleo and JC Mateo are the monsters. Are they gonna start losing a lot? Like I always
Yeah.
get nervous with that because you bring in these monsters and like you have so many monsters that someone's gonna have to lose eventually. You got Braun Breaker
Right.
out there, Bronson Reed, so many people that should be like we need to have one of these guys. Like I don't care if it's Hikuleo or not, but someone needs to have a Goldberg-esque like streak going. Like they just
Yep.
don't lose for a long time. We haven't seen that
Yep.
in a long time. I was
Right.
hoping that'd be Jacob Fatu, where they could have just when he showed up, just not lose for a long time. But either way, it plays into the story. I think we're going to a Bloodline War Games again because I think it's going to be
Yeah.
Solo and Hikuleo and Tama if he's back and Tongaloa. And then you got Jimmy, Jacob. Maybe they get Jay on board. And then maybe Zilla comes and joins
Yep.
them. We don't know. We'll see. So overall, though, yeah, I think that you're right. Solo needs to hold the title. Don't play hot potato with the title anymore. Let it sit and marinate for a while with
Hmm.
Solo. So that brings me to the main event: CM Punk, Punkonomics versus John Cena for the undisputed championship. An overbooked mess, but I got to hear your thoughts first.
In this PLE, we got 2 matches we hadn't seen in 12 years. It was Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes, and then CM Punk and John Cena. Um, I know you got to protect John Cena, right? And you got to protect CM Punk. But first of all, when Seth Rollins comes out, he's in a suit. He ain't gonna cash in.
Yeah,
He's not about to make this a triple threat, and he's in a three-piece suit. He's just not going to do that.
looking like he was wearing some Jinko jeans from back in the '90s with the flames and all that.
Exactly. So it's like he's not about to cash in, right? He doesn't have a referee with him, so that I don't know. I mean, I'm big on when somebody has the money in the bank that they do tease cash ins, but to me that was not even a tease. That wasn't even a tease. To me, it was just the Seth Rollins spot. He's got the money in the bank. Let's run interference. In that piece, this match got a little confusing with the interference because Cena was a baby face for a little bit. For about 10 minutes in this match, John Cena was
Yep.
a baby face because he's fending off Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins. Then he gives CM Punk the hug and then the look. And then that's when he turned heel again. So we had a John Cena babyface turn and then a heel turn right back. To me, those are the elements that made it overbooked and unnecessary to have a heel turn, a babyface turn for about 5-10 minutes, and then you turn it back heel. Um, when I think you could have had that moment later down the line with Cody Rhodes or with something else, like that's a moment that needs to happen. But I didn't think that needed to happen. And then Penta coming out. I mean, I get it. He's got beef with the same crew. I get that, but why are you coming out to deal with this? Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense. Like, I mean, if I'm a like, it's one thing if one of those guys was about to win a title and you want to stop them from winning a title, but they're just running interference and doing what they're supposed to do, and you're gonna stick your nose in, like, run your own race, Penta. Like, it ain't got shit to
Yeah.
do with you, man. So that was another element that made it overbooked was Penta. I think Penta made it overbooked, and then that little John Cena babyface tease turn. I thought that of course John Cena needed to win, unfortunately, um, because it just doesn't make sense. This was a match that I don't think should have been on this card either.
Should have
I
been a
would have
Money in the
rather
Bank.
right. I think this match should have been him versus Ron Killings
Yep.
for the actual title. A match that, hey, can kind of give a house show as feel as we're trying to do that, but actually rewarding Ron Killings for the bullshit that he endured a couple weeks ago and actually getting that moment. Of course, he ain't going to win. Of course, and then with Ron Killings in there, it doesn't feel as bad having so much interference. But when you got John Cena and CM Punk, like you already have two of the biggest stars the industry has ever seen facing each other. It doesn't have to be an overbooked mess. But when you have Ron Killings in there, tease the cash in, tease the, maybe all that stuff because, he's kind of a career 24/7 champion kind of guy. And now he's in the, so that way you can kind of, let 250-year-old guys cook in a match. But, now it makes a little more sense to have all the interference. Night of Champions, it really shouldn't have been called Night of Champions. It should have been called just King and Queen of the Ring. That's what the event should have been called because we only had 2 title matches on the entire card. The same amount of title matches we had on SmackDown. Why not bring those matches from SmackDown that were the title matches? Last Woman Standing, Nia Jackson, Tiffany Stratton, and then the Street Profits match. Those could have been on Night of Champions card. And then we could have had the other matches actually on SmackDown. That's what we should have done.
Yeah, Night of Champions, but there's what, 2 title matches? Usually every title's on the line, but anyway. Um,
Yep.
CM Punk and John Cena just started to find the gear when all this interference started happening, right? And
Yep.
I'm telling you, John Cena was like untouchable back in the day. So you mean he can't win clean as a heel now? Like, it just doesn't make sense to have all this interference. And then when Penta comes out, you're okay. Here's what got me. Did you watch when Penta came out? He started doing his walk a little bit. I'm like, could you hurry?
Right.
What are
He's
you
still
doing?
walking cool. Like you're supposed to be running interference, but he's still got to do the cool walk.
I'm like, can you imagine? It's like the Undertaker coming down, taking forever. He's just like doing his walk down there. CM Punk's getting his ass whooped. He's
And he still does the lights and shit.
like so crazy. And then Sami Zayn comes out, and it felt like WrestleMania 40 all over again. It's like all these people
Yep.
coming out, and it's like the Seth Rollins thing was fine. You could have easily done without everything. Have Seth Rollins' crew come in, have Punk and Cena work together to prevent it from being a triple threat match, and you could have still got where you were going without all these other. Like that's the problem with WWE now. They're heavily relying on just entertainment versus it actually making sense. Like they're just like, well, the crowd will love it if Penta comes out, but why? Well, he doesn't need to come out. Like let that he can handle that on Monday Night Raw. He doesn't need to be here on Night of
Exactly.
Champions, right? So that's my gripe with WWE right now is they just throw things together and it's like this isn't really like truly good wrestling anymore. It's like just a spot fest for a bunch of people to come out. But
Yeah,
Um,
if WrestleMania 40 was Avengers Endgame, this was Thunderbolts Endgame.
yeah, and then it was King and Queen of the Ring, like it was the Thunderbolts, and then they changed it to New Avengers. Now it's Night of
Right.
Champions, right? But yeah, I can go on Marvel quotes all day. I love Marvel. Anyway,
Yep.
so yeah, the CM Punk and John Cena, like Cena should win, but yeah, Ron Killings, like you go through all this with him, and what are you doing now? What's the story for him? Like, I thought he was gonna turn into like Ron Killings says, I gotta get after Cena, but it's like now you're kind of lost in the shuffle, and it's like, well, you cut your hair for what? Like one match with Cena on SmackDown, and now you're going
And
back to
now you're gonna have a match with Aleister Black, which you're gonna lose.
yeah, correct. Um, and it's like you hurt our truth more than anything because now that you turn this serious tone, and he has nothing to do. We loved him for like the entertainment he was bringing. So if he's not going to be funny and he's going to be lost in the shuffle, people are going to not care. The same people that wanted him back are going to not care in like 6 months, and that's the unfortunate thing.
Again, I think he should have been in that Cena match
Yep.
on Night of Champions. Building him up, he should have been the one facing Elton Prince in a one-on-one match where he squashes him
Yep.
and looks like, oh shit, Ron Killings is a bad motherfucker right now. And then the next week, feature him in another squashes match against, I don't know, somebody else who can take a loss, whether it's Johnny Wrestling or somebody like that, another tag team guy. Have him squash them on the road to facing Cena. And now it's like this is a new Cena, or this is a new Ron Killings that we've never seen. Can he possibly be the one to dethrone John Cena? Of course, it doesn't happen. But and then moving away from that, now you can put him into feuds with, lower tier heels. Maybe he goes into a feud with, I don't know, have him face Tongaloa, and then have him face some, just the lower tier heels. Maybe work him up to a match with Carmelo Hayes, and then let them cook, and maybe Carmelo gets a win over him. Those type of things, but make him relevant. Like make him somebody that, oh, he can win matches.
Yep. Yep. That's what they need to do. So, and it's easy to do with tag team wrestlers because they're good
They
to
can take the
lose single.
losses.
Yeah, they can lose singles matches because they're good as a tag team, right? Like it's easy to use them. But
Yep.
either way, Night of Champions happened,
Those should
so
be your jobbers.
they should be. They should be.
Those should be
Um,
your jobbers.
especially like Elton Prince and Kit Wilson.
Yeah,
All
like
that.
Elton Prince and I mean, I'm sorry, Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, like they can give a competitive squash match where you kind of they get a little offense in because they're good wrestlers, but ultimately this match shouldn't be more than one segment. Do not go to commercial break on Ron Killings versus Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah.
No. you you go 5 minutes with Tommaso Ciampa. You don't make him look like a complete chump, but you're showcasing Ron Killings.
Yep. Yep. Correct. So, what do you give Night of Champions? A grade of 1 to 10, 10 being the best.
I got to give it a 5, man. I got to give it a 5 out of 10. It was not, and reason I'm saying that the show itself was not bad. I was entertained for the most part. But what I'm rating it based on is the fact that it's called Night of Champions, but it was not Night of Champions. Um, there were some, there were a couple of matches that weren't that great, that could have been better. Um, and you had the overbooked main event. It was entertaining, but it didn't do the business it could have done with less. Like sometimes less is more,
Yep.
and I think less would have been more there when you have two huge stars like that. Just let the when you have stars, let your stars be stars.
That's what I'm saying, man. You don't need all this interference and all that craziness to happen. So, and for all that, I was going to be about 5.5. Almost 6. Because again, I was entertained, but I'm easily entertained. That's the problem. It's like I love wrestling, so
Can
I
you
can. But it like
can
you.
you imagine and this is going to make me sound like a old head or whatever, but can you imagine WrestleMania 25, Shawn Michaels
Wow.
versus The Undertaker, and you run all this interference? No. You let the stars be the stars. You got The Undertaker and you got Shawn Michaels. They don't need nobody else to make this match better.
And that match was so good. Let me ask you one question, yes or no?
45
Did,
minutes.
yep.
And it
Did
felt like 20 minutes, if that.
did John C or Shawn Michaels lose anything in that loss? No. So CM Punk
He
and
was
John
the
Cena are
first
both
one.
stars. Neither one of them would have lost anything from losing this match. Just let them work.
Dude, Shawn Michaels gained more from that because you felt like, damn, he could have beat The Undertaker last night.
Yep.
Like, he was this close. Like, he was the closest one to breaking the streak
Yep.
early on before Brock Lesnar because he kicked out of every. He made. The story of that match is Shawn Michaels wrestled a perfect match and made one mistake.
Yep.
That was the story. And it didn't take an Triple H coming out and doing DX shit, and it didn't take Kane coming out and doing no. This was mano a mano. Give
Yep.
us 40 minutes and let us be stars.
Yeah, I agree with you. So if you're watching this long, make sure you drop in the comments what your favorite parts were. What did you think could have happened better? Obviously, a lot could have happened better. But, drop in the comments. We love to hear it. And Wrestling Brother, we'll see you on the next one.